The Sennelier Oil Pastel paper pad. Is it worth the money and is it any good? Let's go and have a look. So let's have a little talk about the Sennelier Oil Pastel pad. It's meant to be the creme de la creme. Now, I have used it, but I'm not going to tell you it's my favourite oil pastel paper because it's not. If I was talking purely oil pastel paper, yes it would be, but I use something else which I will be getting to once I reach 1,000 subscribers. I just feel it's a lot better. The Sennelier Oil Pastel pad is technically a hot press card, which means it's very smooth in its texture. It's 340 GSM. I'm not sure what that works out to in pounds for my American friends. Each pad has 12 sheets in it, and it feels like a very thick card for painting on. It says it is smooth hot press, and yes it is. However, there is some surface texture to it. It's hard to describe what that texture is like, and I will hopefully be able to show you in a few minutes. Now, it's available in 4 sizes. The first size is 16 by 24. That is this size. So if I put that near my head, I haven't got a very big head, look. You can see that it's not the hugest pad in the world. It's about head size. So 16 by 24 centimetres. The next size is double that, which is the 24 by 32. Then it goes up again and it goes to this much bigger pad which I have here, which I can't fit on the screen, and that's a 30 by 40. And then it goes even higher than that and it goes to double that, which is a 40 by 60 centimetres, which is pretty big. I'd say probably off the top of my head about the size of an A1 for the UK people. So there's a couple of things you need to know about Sennelier oil pastel paper. It cannot take solvent, apparently. Now, I have never tried it, so I don't know. I don't use solvent, and if I do, it's very rare, very, very rare. But apparently it will cause the paper to swell and to blister. So we obviously don't want that. However, having said that, contradictory to that is that it says it repels water. So it's a bit strange. It repels water, but it won't take a solvent. Now, I know solvent is a lot more chemical based, so that's obviously the reason. Let's have a look at the actual pad, and we'll try and show you the texture, and I'll show you the things that are good about it and things that I feel are not quite so good about it. So here I have an open pad of the 16 by 24 centimetre. It says it's acid free, 12 sheets. Oh, and it's at £160 for my American friends, which is 340 GSM. It says card for oil pastel with a crystal insert, and that's correct. As you can see, I've used it to jot on, which is not advisable because it's too expensive to do that. But I'm going to try and zoom in here so that you can try to see the texture. So if I just put that there, you can see there's like this surface texture to it. Now if I get a oil pastel and scribble on it, we'll see if that texture will come out a bit. So I'm going to lay some light oil pastel on here, and you can see the texture of the paper, or the card I should say. You can see it's got a texture. That's just a light coverage, and we'll see how it blends in. You can see that it sits on the surface, or lumps and bumps, just like a watercolour pencil would. So you can see that you've got blotchiness, but of course you would add a lot more pastel to this, I suspect. I would anyway. So the more I add, the more I'm filling it in. So you can see that you can layer up quite a thick layer of this. It's starting to cover the texture of that paper now. So I've got another third layer on here, a third thick layer as it happens. And that is getting really thick on there now. You can see there's no transparency there. I've covered the paper, and that's really quite like oil paint now, in fact. So you can see, and I could probably even add some more. Yes, I can. I keep adding and keep adding. So to take the oil pastel, it's actually very, very good. On screen it probably doesn't look as opaque as it should or as dark as it should, but rest assured that this is really quite a dark blue and there is no surface texture showing through that. I'll zoom out. That will give you a better impression. There we go. That's a better impression of what you get. So as an oil pastel paper, this is excellent. A downside to it, for me personally, is that it comes in this spiral bound pad. I wish it was a rip-off pad, which had a serrated edge along here. Now, they do include in the measurements this part, so if you wanted to do your picture to the actual size of the pad, you actually couldn't, because you're losing this part. And when you rip it off, you have to be quite careful as well that you know you're not going to rip the actual surface area of the paper. So that's a downside for me. I don't like that. However, I do love this. Personally, I've got crystal paper on its own that I use to wrap my oil pastel paintings in if I need to. But this is on every single page. And if you just want to keep them in the book, then that's actually excellent. So you can see that it takes a lot of pastel. You can see the downsides with the spiral. You can see another upside with the paper. A downside that it can't take solvents. An upside that it is water repellent. That's a quick overview of what that paper is like. Expense-wise, it is very expensive. Now, I'm looking as we speak on the Great Art website, and they do actually have an offer as we speak. And the normal price, according to them, is for the small pad, the 16 by 24, is approximately £16, but it's down to £11.45. So that's a really good value, actually. The 24 by 32 is normally £21.50. It's now down to £16.15. This is all in pounds, by the way. The 30 by 40, which is the large pad I have, is normally around about £33 to £35. That's now down to £25. And the very large one that I wish I had, if I'm being honest, although I have a large pad in my favourite paper of this size, is normally £66, but it's now down to £48.65. So if you are able to shop on Great Art, I would say that's a great opportunity to get this pastel paper at a good price. Let's just have a look on the reverse side of the card, because we want to know whether this oil pastel is going to seep through. Well, I'm pretty rest assured that you all know that it's not going to. So you can see that it will not seep through, so it's very good, and you can't use solvent, so it's not going to seep through with that. This is a great paper. Is it worth the money? I would say yes, it's definitely worth the money. It's acid free, so I'm assuming from that it's archival. Yes, I would definitely use this paper if I wasn't using the other paper that I use, which I will get to in due course. But yeah, this is definitely a great paper. I would recommend it all day long. There's just a couple of quirks to it that I don't like, which, as I discussed, is that spiral part and the fact that it won't take solvents, although I don't use them, other people do, so that's a bit of a downside. So that's the Sennelier Oil Pastel paper. I've shown you the pictures that I've done with them, and on each picture, especially the red bush where the windmill is, I put quite thick layers on there, so although it's hot press, it will take quite a lot of layers and will take off an impasto looking oil pastel, whereas you get a lot of other smooth papers, they won't actually do that. It's quite an impressive paper, if I'm being honest, and I really like it. I hope that has helped you decide whether you want to use a Sennelier Oil Pastel pad and whether you are willing to spend that money. I would recommend it all day long, and I would say it's well worth spending that money. Perhaps maybe start on a smaller pad, but I think you would quickly want to move to a larger pad so that you could do more detailed work. So until next time, wherever you are, please have a great day, a great week and a great year, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be a art improver video based on the ballpoint pens, which will improve all your art in every single medium. Anyway, bye for now.